unless you've been living under a rock for the past week, you probably know that the 13 Reasons Why TV show adaptation was just put on Netflix and everybody seems to be watching it and talking about it, and I watched the show. I watched it in like 3 days. I know some people that literally binge watched the whole show in one sitting, but I watched the show and I have so many things to talk about the show, and I know a bunch of you guys want to hear my opinions on it, so that's what this video is going to be today. And for those of you wondering, yes, I have read the book. I read it a pretty long time ago, and I also used to talk about it on my channel all the time. Perhaps like 15-year-old Laura recommended it to you a while back. 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. I read this in middle school as well, and I really liked it. This is about a boy, I think his name's Clay, and he receives this box full of cassette tapes at his door, and they're all cassette tapes of this girl named Hannah that recently committed suicide. It's a really good book. It's kind of dark and sad, but it's really good and worth the read. Give this video a thumbs up if you've seen that video, because it's just so old and awkward. But yes, the book was wonderful. I read it super long ago though, so I don't remember a ton of it. So in this video today, if you have only watched the show and you've not read the book and you don't want to be spoiled for anything in the book, I can't really promise you that I won't bring up small things from the book. I mean, the book and the TV show, they are very similar, but there are some slight differences that I would just like to touch on. So if you do not want to be spoiled about anything in the book, then perhaps don't watch this review. I'm sorry, it's just something that I like to do. I like to compare the two different things and talk about how they differ and what's good in which and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of something I will be doing in this video, so just in case. But yeah, there's really not going to be a non-spoiler section to this video because there's just so much stuff that I want to talk about spoiler-wise. But if you've not watched the show yet, I really recommend you to go do so. It's such a fantastic TV show, and also the book is absolutely amazing as well. So check out the book by Jay Asher, read it, go watch the show, and then come back to this video and we can talk about it a little bit more. But for now, I'm just gonna get into my thoughts on the TV show. Okay guys, it has been a while since I've gotten so attached to characters in a TV show and just attached to a TV show enough to just watch the whole season in like a couple days. The reason I was delayed is because I was watching it with my boyfriend and he was like trying to take it slow and like span it out over a couple days, and I was like, I need to watch all of this right now. But we did it in 3 days, and oh my god, I just loved the show so much. I loved the actors in it. Everybody did such a phenomenal job with their role. I thought all of the actors were so amazing and talented and just represented all the characters so well. The one character that I wasn't really 100% pleased with the casting on was Tony, and truly the only reason for that is that I just didn't think of Tony to look like that when I was reading the book, so it kind of threw me off. But at the same time, his character was still well done and he did a good job with the character, so I can't be that upset about that. Even just how the show looked, like the cinematography, the filming style, the way that the music was played, and like the transitions that happened in between scenes going from present to the past and the flashbacks, and just everything was done so well. And I know that's kind of irrelevant if you don't care about that kind of stuff, but I thought it was just done so well and I really appreciated that aspect of the show. I'm just overall really happy that this show made it onto Netflix and that so many people are watching it and enjoying it, because this is a story that I read obviously like 7 years ago, and I just remember feeling so attached to it and I loved it so much, and I was just like, I wish more people knew about this story and read it and just felt it the way that I did. And now that it's a TV show, and I can tell you honestly that I think that it is an accurate representation of the book, and I felt all the same things I was feeling while reading the book when I watched the show, that I'm so happy it's out there for people to watch, people that don't read even, so that they can get a taste of what the show is like as well. And it's just such a phenomenal story that just needed to be told, especially in this generation. It's so important to talk about suicide awareness and stuff like that. So I was just really happy overall that it became a show. Speaking more in depth about the characters, because I know you guys are going to ask who my favorites are and all that kind of stuff, I just absolutely loved Clay. He was so adorable and so perfect. I loved the actor that played him, Dylan. He was such a phenomenal actor, so talented, but he was just like perfect for the role of Clay. And I don't know about you guys, but he totally reminds me of Logan Lerman, who plays Charlie in The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Those two characters are so similar, man, but I loved it. And just the whole time I was watching the show, I was like, this is something Charlie would do, like he's Charlie. And I think that's also really funny because the mom that plays Hannah Baker in 13 Reasons Why is Charlie's mom in Perks of Being a Wallflower, which is kind of weird. Hannah, obviously, I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about her. Some people hate her, some people love her. I personally love her. I think that she's such a phenomenal and complex character, and that was a really hard aspect of the show and the book. It's like there's this wonderful character that you're learning more and more about each episode, and then like you already know she died, so it's like you're getting so attached to this character, and to think like, oh my gosh, like she kills herself at the end of all this, it's just like, ugh, like it's so heart-wrenching and awful, but it's so like real, and it's just like too much. As for all of the characters that were included in the tapes, I obviously have some favorites and I obviously have some that I absolutely despise. Some of the characters that I did like include Alex. I actually really ended up liking him, and at the end of the series I was freaking out, obviously crying for him, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but Alex definitely came to be one of my favorite characters, along with Justin. Surprisingly, I know a lot of people are probably gonna have mixed feelings on Justin, but I truly felt for him, and obviously the stuff that he did in the past was so wrong and so awful, and obviously was one of the contributors to Hannah's depression and all that kind of stuff, but I do think that he is a complex character, and there's going to be more with him, especially if we do get a second season, which we need, and I'll talk about that later. But I just really enjoyed him, and I know some people are going to disagree, but I actually really liked him. Let's also talk about the fact that Alex and Justin are dating in real life. It's like the cutest thing ever, but it's fine. What other characters did I like? I didn't mind Zach, who was one of the basketball players, one of the popular kids. I didn't mind him. I think in the show they kind of made it a point to say that like he was good-hearted in the end, even though he made mistakes, and I do kind of agree with that. So he wasn't one of my like least favorite characters. I liked him, and I also liked the one other guy. I forget his name honestly, but he was the one that published her poetry without telling her. I liked him. I didn't think he was that awful compared to like Bryce or something, so I didn't mind him either. Characters that I can't stand include Bryce, obviously, Courtney, and I didn't really like Marcus at all. Tyler is like fine, I didn't really care, along with, what was her name? Sherry? I think her name was Sherry. Her, like I didn't really mind her either, she was like fine. But oh my god, Jeff Atkins. Have you guys like seen all of like the memes on Twitter that are like, Jeff deserved more? It's like the truest statement of 2017. Like, Jeff Atkins deserved more. He was just like the sweetest character. It was so sad when you find out that he was the one involved in the car accident. It was so sad. Let's also talk about the fact that the only chapter I remember from the book is the one that talks about Clay's tape. Like, I don't remember anybody else's tape or any of the other reasons, I guess. So the show's going on and I'm like, why is Bryce like the only character that's not in a tape and that doesn't do anything bad? Like, he seems like a really awful guy, but I was starting to like doubt my thoughts about it, and I was like, maybe he is like the only goodish one. Girl, absolutely not. And then it's like the whole thing where it's like him and the rape, and so awful. Like, I hate Bryce. Oh my god, I hate him. I know some of you on Twitter were asking which my favorite tapes were, and definitely Clay's tape and all of the tapes that had to do with like the party and all that crazy stuff, because that was just like drama and like stuff being revealed that I needed to be revealed, and like learning more. And so like Justin's second tape I think is the party, and Clay's, and just all the later episodes. The last episode I obviously loved so much. It was so crazy. I can't even like wrap my head around it still. I finished the series yesterday and I'm still like thinking about it 24/7. Like, I went to work today and I'm like sitting there like, Jeff Atkins deserved more. Oh, I also hate Mr. Porter. Like, literally the whole show, he's like, I only talked to Hannah one time, and then you find out that he's literally on the tapes because she's the last person he went to talk to about like being depressed and being raped, and he was like, it doesn't tell anybody. Like, what? You're a guidance counselor. This show had me like so revved up the whole time I was watching it, but like everything was so amazing. Everything was portrayed so great, and just like, I don't know, like I loved the show so much. I can't even explain it. Like, this video is just gonna be me like freaking out because I don't even know what to say at this point. Like, there's just so much happening and so much like, it's just so great and so like thriller, and like you don't know what's gonna happen next, and you don't know what she's gonna say or like what happened, and then you find out and you're like freaking out, and then like you think you know what's going on and then you don't because there's more stuff going on. Like, the last episode had me messed up. Like, so much was going on and I still don't have enough answers. The one tiny little thing that kind of made me upset about this, and it wasn't like a huge thing, it wasn't a huge deal, it didn't affect that much, but it had to do with Clay's tape. Now, in the book, Clay's tape is kind of near the end. I think it might be the last tape even, or it's like the 10th tape, I don't even remember. But basically in his tape, Hannah just says, Clay, you don't belong on this tape. Like, the only reason I included you is so that you would know what's going on. Like, that's literally what she says, I'm pretty sure. And in the show, it almost seemed like there was a tiny bit of blame put on him for like leaving her or like just anything. I don't really remember. Like, it just seemed like there was a little bit more blame being placed in the show compared to the book, and I just really liked how in the book they kind of kept it like Clay was the one thing that even gave her a tiny bit of will to live, which in the show it's similar to that, but I don't know, there was just a little bit more blame put in the show. I didn't like that. Clay's innocent. Also, another thing, they completely changed how Hannah committed suicide. I think they did it for like drama and to kind of make the audience slightly uncomfortable, I think is what I heard, to have her like slit her wrists and bleed out in the bathtub, which is super graphic, and that scene was like so awful to watch. But in the book she overdoses on pills, I'm pretty sure, which is kind of different. But the one big thing I want to talk about regarding the show is, are we getting a second season? Because there are so many things that haven't been answered. Like the whole trial, like do the Bakers win or does the school win? The potential rape trial, because we have all the information on Bryce and admitting that he raped Hannah and all that kind of stuff. So we have that. We also have the whole relationship that just kind of began between Skye and Clay, which I also really liked Skye. I thought she was a really super interesting and complex character, and I'd love to see more of her. So we have that. We have the whole situation with the tapes being leaked and being out, and the guidance counselor having the tapes as well. And then also we have Alex, who the whole time in like the second to last episode there was like a teen and he shot himself, or he got shot or whatever, and then like the whole last episode I'm sitting there like, who got shot? Because it's showing like everybody. It even showed Alex answering the phone, which we know now probably wasn't Alex answering the phone. So I was like, which character got shot, whatever, and then like you hear that Alex shot himself, which I'm a little sus about. I don't know if he shot himself. He might have. He seemed kind of depressed the whole show, but it's possible that it was Tyler because he had all the guns. So like, what's going on with Tyler? Like, is he gonna do something? Like, there's so many loose ends, there's so many plots that need to be concluded and finished, and I need more answers. Like, I don't feel like satisfied. Like, the show is amazing, I loved it, but I definitely need more. And it's kind of like weird because like obviously they can do more flashbacks with Hannah and include stuff with her too, but it's like the whole concept of the book has already been done, but they made it so that all these other characters are now involved and people are attached to these characters and want to know what's going on with them still. But in the book you don't really care because you don't hear anything about the other characters, because in the book Clay listens to the tapes in one night, and obviously in the show it was a huge thing that he was like the only person that didn't do that. He was spanning it out really long because he like couldn't deal with it, which I thought really added something to the show, and I was glad they did it like that. I love to be in the other characters' point of view, learning about them and stuff, and seeing which characters I had sympathy for or not, so I thought that was interesting as well. Overall, guys, I really enjoyed this show. I loved it so much, and I just think it's such an important show, and just share it with all your friends and your family and just anyone who you think might benefit from this show and benefit, and just the overall arcing message that like, even if you think nobody's on your side and you think that you're alone, there are so many people that actually do care about you and that are going to be affected by losing you, and it's just like, it's so important. And so just share this show with everybody. I really think it was done so well, and I loved it so much. I'm definitely gonna rewatch the whole show because I loved it that much. Overall, I think it's something that we should be talking about more, talking about suicide prevention and how we can work together to all just be a little bit nicer to each other. I actually have a video on my channel called like being kinder in 2017 and how you can like change your kindness goals, because it's something I believe in. Like, being kind to other people is hard sometimes. People think that it's easy to be nice, but I'm here to tell you that it's not always easy. Sometimes you're going through your own stuff and you can't always just be bothered to be nice to everybody. But I think it's really important to realize that like kindness is keeping people alive, and it's so important to just be nice to other people. If you see someone by themselves at lunch, if you're in high school or middle school or something, go talk to them. If there's somebody that's being outcasted, talk to them. If you see somebody and you like their shirt, tell them. Like, just be nice to people. It's so important. It saves lives. I cannot stress that enough. I'm so for kindness. I know that sounds kind of stupid because it's like everybody should be kind, but the truth of the matter is not everybody is kind, so practice it. Do more kind things every single day. I swear to God, it's worth it. But anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I know it was all over the place and I'm probably missing so many key points, so many huge things that happened in the show that I would love to chat with you guys about. I'm always here on Twitter. You can tweet me at lovelyLikeLara and let me know what you want to know, and we can chat about the show. And also in the comments down below, feel free to leave me a comment. I'll try to get back to it. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you've not already for more videos. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!